Have you ever heard someone say, "I'm a right-brained person, that's why I'm creative," or "I'm more left-brained, so I'm logical"? Maybe you've even taken an online quiz that told you which side of your brain controls your personality. It sounds convincing, and millions of people believe it. But here's the surprising truth. Modern neuroscience says the story is not that simple at all. In fact, the popular idea that people are either left-brained or right-brained might actually be one of the biggest myths about the human brain. Before we dive deeper into this fascinating mystery, take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to Brain Aura if you enjoy learning powerful secrets about the human mind. This channel is all about exploring how your brain really works. And trust me, the truth is often more surprising than the myth. Now let's start with the basic idea. Most people know the brain is divided into two halves, called hemispheres. There is a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere. For many years, people believed these two sides had completely different personalities. According to the popular belief, the left side of the brain was responsible for logic, math, and analytical thinking, while the right side controlled creativity, imagination, music, and emotions. Because of this idea, people started labeling themselves. Someone who loved numbers and planning was called left-brained. Someone who enjoyed art, music, or storytelling was called right-brained. This concept became extremely popular in books, schools, and even business training programs. But when scientists started studying the brain more closely using modern brain scanning technology, they discovered something very interesting. The brain does have two hemispheres, and certain functions may be stronger in one side than the other. But the idea that a person is completely dominated by one side of the brain is simply not true. In reality, both sides of your brain are constantly working together. They communicate through a thick bundle of nerve fibers called the corpus callosum. This structure connects the two hemispheres and allows information to move back and forth incredibly fast. It's like a high-speed bridge connecting to cities. Think about something simple, like reading a book. The left side of the brain helps process language and grammar, but the right side helps understand tone, emotion, and context. Without both sides working together, reading would feel incomplete. The same thing happens when you listen to music. One side of the brain may focus on rhythm or patterns, while the other side processes emotion and meaning. This cooperation between the hemispheres happens almost constantly. When you solve a problem, speak to someone, draw a picture, or even watch a movie, your entire brain becomes active in different ways. Instead of one side taking control, the brain works like a team where many regions cooperate at the same time. Scientists tested this idea by studying thousands of brain scans. They looked for evidence that some people rely heavily on one hemisphere more than the other. Surprisingly, they found no strong proof that people are truly left-brained or right-brained. Most people use both sides in balanced ways, depending on the task they are performing. So why did the myths become so popular in the first place? Part of the reason comes from early neuroscience research in the 1960s and 1970s. During that time, scientists studied patients whose brains had been surgically separated in a procedure called split brain surgery. This rare operation was sometimes used to treat severe epilepsy. In those patients, the connection between the left and right hemispheres was cut. Because of this, the two halves could not communicate normally. Researchers observed that certain tasks seemed to happen more strongly in one side of the brain. For example, language was often linked to the left hemisphere, while visual patterns and spatial awareness were more connected to the right hemisphere. These discoveries were fascinating, but over time, people simplified the idea too much. Instead of understanding that the brain shares responsibilities between hemispheres, many people assume that each person mainly uses only one side. But the truth is far more interesting. Your brain is not divided into two separate personalities. It is an incredibly connected network where different regions collaborate to create thoughts, emotions, and creativity. Even creative activities like painting or writing stories involve both hemispheres. The right side may help imagine images or emotional tone, but the left side helps organize language, structure, and details. Without both sides working together, creativity would not be nearly as powerful. The same thing is true for logical thinking. Solving a math problem might involve analytical processes often linked with the left hemisphere, but the right side helps visualize patterns and relationships between numbers. In other words, your brain is not choosing between logic and creativity. It blends them together constantly. Another fascinating discovery from modern brain research is that the brain is extremely flexible. Scientists call this neuro. This means the brain can change and adapt over time depending on how you use it. When you practice a skill, certain neural connections become stronger. This happens whether you are learning music, programming, sports, or languages. Because of this flexibility, labeling yourself as a left-brain person or a right-brain person can actually limit how you think about your abilities. The truth is, your brain is capable of developing both logical and creative skills if you practice them. Many successful people combine both styles of thinking. A great engineer might also be very creative. A talented artist might use strong logical planning when designing a project. The human brain works best when both sides cooperate. So the next time you hear someone say they are only logical or only creative because of their brain side, remember this fascinating fact. Your brain is not divided into two separate personalities, fighting for control. It is a powerful network where both hemispheres communicate every second. Here, on Brainora, we love uncovering these hidden truths about the mind because understanding how your brain really works can change the way you see yourself. Instead of limiting your abilities, you can realize that your brain has the potential to develop many different talents. Now I'm curious about you. Have you ever believed that you were either left-brained or right-brained? And after hearing this explanation, does it change how you think about your own mind? Write your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective might help someone else understand their brain in a new way. And if you found this video interesting, share it with a friend who loves psychology or brain science.